What's up, guys? One Koala Man here, bringing you episode number 24 of our fairy tale reviews. And I know I have not uploaded Tuesday, Wednesday, and yesterday. That is because I had to do some things with school, because, school's a thing. So I had to, get registration, all that good stuff, get orientations done. It was a very boring and very tedious process, but we're here again, so like this video if you enjoy today's episode, because I enjoyed it, because we got like the backstory of what happened with Lizana, and it is a pretty interesting story, so I'll get to that later in the episode. Be sure to share it to everybody you know and hit subscribe if you are new, because I welcome every new person that watches this video and every other video. I welcome you with open arms. I don't know if you can see it, but my arms are wide open for all of you. So, without further ado, let's get this mother on the way. So we start today's episode off with the fight between Natsu and between Totemaru. And this is kind of a dead even fight because they both control fire and they can both, do stuff with fire. So it's kind of like a stalling kind of battle. And all at the same time, the clock to the Jupiter cannon is racing down to 0, and Natsu's got about 2 minutes to try and do this, to try and destroy the clock, or not the clock, the giant lacrima, and to beat Totemaru. So he's thinking, how in the world can I do this? And so he thinks, maybe if I fight him fist to fist. So he tries it, and Totemaru has a counter, which is his katana. And so they're fighting. Natsu knocks the katana, and the katana flies into the lacrima, and he's like, oh, that little thing won't, do anything. And so Natsu, finally gets an idea, and so he, brings out this vortex of fire, and I don't know how, but Totemaru cannot control this fire, because it is just way too much, energy or whatever to control. And then Natsu chucks that vortex of fire. The fire turns into a fist, hits the the sword or the katana inside of the lacrima, pushes it through, and barely, I'm talking like the skin of his teeth, he barely breaks that lacrima, and the Jupiter cannon, blows up on itself, and he barely stops the imminent destruction of Magnolia and Fairy Tail. So Josei's not really that startled because he has a backup plan, and this backup plan involves the HQ building itself. And so he does some little flick of the wrist, and this giant building turns into a giant robot looking like Optimus Prime, okay? Natsu's inside of this building, and everybody on the outside, fighting the ghouls and whatnot from last episode, is saying, okay, now we gotta wait for Natsu to, beat this giant, because I'm pretty sure he can try and do it. And then Makao points out, yeah, but he's got motion sickness, and everybody's like, oh, man. So Totemaru, who is also still on the inside of this giant, is realizing, what, you're sick, you get motion sick? Come on now, what's the matter with that? And he tries to, take advantage of Natsu, not in that way. And he, starts getting ready to, body Natsu. And then ice starts to form around Totemaru's hands. Elfman comes in and bops Totemaru. He flies away like Team Rocket, flying again. The little star pops up. And Elfman and Gray come to the rescue. And all at the same time, the giant, who is now like Optimus Prime or whatever, is building this circle. This magic circle, and it's called the Giant Abyss Circle, something Abyss Circle, and it's gonna take about 10 minutes. Of course, another timeline, another deadline, and it's just building slowly, this giant circle that could pretty much destroy Magnolia, just like the Jupiter cannon could. So Mira Jane sees all of this happening, and she's like, okay, I'm disguised as Lucy. Maybe this plan will work. So she goes outside of the guild hall because she was watching over Urza. Because if you remember last episode, Urza just got wrecked by that Jupiter blast. But anyways, Mira's outside, and she's, you know, looking like Lucy, except she has her own dress on, which is kind of a dead giveaway, and she says, "Stop. I give up as long as you stop attacking Fairy Tail and Magnolia." And Josei is just laughing. He's like, "Get out of my face, imposter." And she's like, How did he see that? How did he see through the takeover?" And then he teleports Mira Jane, and Mira Jane's like in the fingers of this giant, and the giant's like slowly crushing her while, you know, making the circle, of course. And so that's kind of an odd situation to be in. Alright, so now inside the giant, we get Elfman trying to find, you know, the power source of how to stop this giant from making this, you know, giant circle abyss thing. And he runs into Soul, and Soul mentions like, "Oh, so you're Elfman. I wonder if the rumors are true." And I'm thinking like, okay, what are the rumors? And Elfman starts, you know, fighting him, changing his right arm into like a beast arm, changing into like a rock arm or whatever. And Soul mentions like Elfman attempting the full body transformation, which is what Lizana could do and what I'm sure Mira could do, but Elfman just couldn't do it for whatever reason. And he mentions that, and Elfman gets kind of like gets very, you know, offended, and apparently he mentions Lizana. Soul mentions Lizana, and apparently she is dead. And the culprit of who killed Lizana is Elfman, and Elfman is just like in shock. He's like, how does he know about this? And it's just pretty intense. So apparently back in the day, Elfman killed Lizana. Now I don't know how yet. We will get to that, you know, later in the episode, but that is pretty freaking interesting, that's for dang sure. And then Soul's just beating on Elfman because he is playing the mind games in Elfman. And Elfman sees Mira Jane like getting crushed slowly but surely by the giant, and he just, oh man, he starts breaking down. And then Soul like starts making this like rock shell over Elfman, and at the same time Elfman's like going into his memories back to, you know, just I'll get to it. So now we're in the mind of Elfman, and Elfman's like reminiscing about the past and what happened. And the first thing we see is little Elfman crying at a grave, and little Lizana coming and trying to, you know, help Elfman cope with the death of his parakeet. Now, yeah, Elfman was a pretty big pansy boy back in the day, and now he's just this big giant brute of a man. And then it goes back to another memory, back when Lizana was helping Natsu and Happy, you know, solve their little fish problem, because apparently Natsu ate one of Happy's fish, and apparently Happy got angry, blah blah blah, and then not Natsu, Mira Jane and Elfman come on down, and they tell Lizana like, "Hey, Lizana, Mira's taking an S-class mission. You want to go help?" And Natsu's like, "Oh, I want to help. I really want to help." And Elfman's like, No. We already got me. I'm the man of this squad. You can go, you know, do whatever with Happy. Lizana, you're coming with us." And that apparently is the worst time that Lizana could have helped. And I am just stuttering so much. I just haven't recorded in so long, guys. I'm just stumbling over my words. But anyways, we get into the meatiest part of this rumor, which is not a rumor anymore. And they see this giant beast. Mira Jane and Lizana see this giant beast, and this giant beast happens to be Elfman. And Elfman tried fighting this beast originally and took over his body, but he just lost control of it. And so now he's like fighting internally with this beast. And Lizana steps in front of the beast, says, "Come on, big brother." I mean, she starts being super positive, and she tries giving it a big hug. And Elfman, who is, you know, being controlled by this beast, just boom, smacks Lizana, and oh my gosh, dude, he just wrecked Lizana. Now, that was a pretty good hit, but all kidding aside, that was pretty intense. That was a pretty freaking intense moment for the family of Lizana, Mira Jane, and Elfman, because Elfman did, in fact, kill Lizana. So now we go back into the present, and Elfman's almost, covered by those stones and the rocks that Soul is, covering him with. And Elfman sees Mira crying when she's getting crushed. I mean, who wouldn't cry getting crushed by a giant, giant Autobot? And he gets super angry. He's like, "Why are you crying? I promised I would never let you cry ever again." And then he does the unthinkable. He transforms into the exact beast that killed Lizana. And that is the end of that episode. So I cannot wait for Elfman to just wreck Soul. He's probably going to try and wreck Mira Jane because he cannot control this beast. I do not know why he turned into it. But he did it. Let's see where this takes us, okay? So that is the end of the fairy tale episode. Alrighty guys, you already know I don't like to end off these episodes without a question of the day. So today's question for the day is regarding the beast transformation. And I'm just going to concentrate on the beast part. And speaking of beasts, do you have any pets? That is the question of the day. Do you have any pets, or did you have any pets? If so, let me know down in the comment section below. And my answer is yes, I did have a kitty, and her name was Kitty. I know, very original name. And I'll put a picture of her right now. And she was the absolute laziest cat I've ever had, because it's, the only cat I've ever had. And hopefully I get a new cat. And she unfortunately did pass away on, I believe, December 2nd, 2013? Either 2013 or 2014. But I know she passed away December 2nd. And, she was a cute kitty. I liked her. And that's about it. But yeah, let me know if you have any pets. Tell me their names. Tell me their species. If it's a fish, if it's a shark, if it's a dolphin, I'm getting all these sea creatures. If it's a dog, a cat, a chameleon, an iguana, let me know, and let me know the name, because I like seeing people naming their animals, because I like nicknaming my Pokemon in Pokemon, but that's Pokemon. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section below. And I apologize for being so scrambly today, and so repetitive, and so everything else. So keep it cool, guys.